Okay, let's move on to the next topic. How to simplify a fraction. Why do we need even to simplify a fraction? Well, simplifying a fraction is putting the fraction in the simplest form. So for example, if I tell you that I have eaten 5/15 pieces of a cake, would you be able to understand how big or how much of the cake I did eat? Or if I told you 1/3 of the cake, I did eat 1/3, a third of the cake, which one you can visualize in your mind? Of course, the 1/3, the third of a cake, you can visualize that more than saying, well, 5/15 is really how much, like how big from how much from the cake did you eat? So the same thing. 5/15 is a form of 1/3. 1/3 is the simplest form of saying 5/15. But again, third will reveal the core value of the fraction more than 5/15. The same thing with those questions that we have on the screen. We're going to try to simplify those fractions so we're able to visualize the core value of each fraction. How do we simplify a fraction? We simplify a fraction by dividing over the common factor between the top and the bottom numbers. So 12 has some factors. 18 has some bunch of factors. The common ones are the ones we can divide over, and that will give us the simplest form. Okay, let's make that more clear. What are the set factors of 12? Well, I like to use the tree. I'm going to show you how to do the tree on one example, and then I'm going to do the other ones with just simple math, but you still can do the tree method after the webinar just to see how did we simplify the other two fractions. So I'm going to divide that screen to 2. That's not a perfect line. I tried. So I'm going to list the factors of 12. I'm going to make the tree. 12 is 3 times 4 and also 6 times 2, but I'm going to start with 3 times 4. Any two factors of 12 can be the first level of your tree. 3 is a prime number. 3 is what times what? 3 times 1. So that's it for the 3. I cannot factor 3 anymore, so I'm going to leave the 3. Look at the 4. 4 is what times what? It's 2 times 2. Am I able to factor 2 and 2 even more? And the answer is no. Then the factors of 12 are 3, 2, and 2. What about 18, the denominator? Remember, we want the common factors between 12 and 18. So we're listing the factors of 12 and 18 and see which ones are common, are shared between the two. 18 is 3 times 6. Well, 3, that's it for it. And then 6 is 3 times 2. Now we have the list of factors of 18, 3, 3, and 2, 12, 3, and 2, and 2. What are the common factors? The factors that you see at the end leaves of that tree that are shared between the 18 and 12. This is the manual way. This is the step-by-step way. I'm going to show you that method, and it's up to you if you want to use it or no. I'm going to circle the ones that are common. 3 is common. So 3 is a factor, common factor, and also one of the 2's are common. So 3 and 2 and 3 and 2 multiply. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 is the common factor between 12 and 18. Divide over 6 and divide over 6. And that will give you the simplest form right away. 12 over 6 will give you a 2. 18 over 6 will give you 3. So the core value of 12 over 18 is 2/3. If I tell you I ate 2/3 of the pizza or 12 over 18 of the pizza, which one you're able to understand more? The simplest form, 2/3. So that is the extended way of doing so. You're able to do the tree method. I would recommend it if you're still not good in simplifying fractions. By practice, though, you're able to do the second method I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to write down the original fraction from question number 1 and try it a different way. I'm going to look at the number on the top and the bottom. They are even number. I know that even numbers has a 2 as a common factor because they are even. They are divisible by a 2. So I'm going to divide over 2 and divide over 2. This method is not going to give me the simplest form of the fraction from the first step. That may take me a lot of steps to do. But again, it's another way. 12 over 2 will give you what? 6, and 18 over 2 will give you 9. Well, 6 over 9, still, there are some common factors I'm able to eliminate. 6 and 3. Think about the multiplication table. 6 and 9, I'm sorry. So 3 is a common factor. Divide over 3. Divide over 3. And that is the second step. When you divide over 3, 6 over 3 will give you what? 6 over 3 will give you the 2. And 9 over 3 will give you the 3. So the same answer as the first method. So both methods will give you the right answer. One will give you the right answer right away. The other one may require some steps to arrive to the simplest form. Well, it may look like so long and sometimes you can call it boring, but with practice, you will be able to simplify fractions more fast. Okay, let's do the second fraction using the second method. 48 and 54, they're even numbers. They happen to be even numbers. They don't have to be even numbers, but in our example, they are even. So I'm going to use this feature of my numbers and divide over 2, again, because they are even numbers, and see what's next. 48 divided by 2 will give you 24 on the top, and then 54 over 2 will give you 27 on the bottom. Okay, 24 and 27. There is a common factor I know from my knowledge of the multiplication table. I know it's 3. I know it's 3. Divide over 3 and divide over 3. 24 over 3 is what? Will give you 8. And 27 over 3 will give you 9. And this is the simplest form of 48 over 54. If you do the tree method, you will arrive to the same fraction from one step, using only one step. Questions on this topic before I go ahead on the third example? You can type in your questions on the questions box. Okay, let's do the third method, 27 and 90. 27 is not an even number. I cannot use 2 as a factor to divide the bottom and the top of the fraction. I need to think about something else. I have 27 and 90. I know that 9 times 3 will give me 27, and I also know that 9 times 10 will give me 90. So the common factor between 27 and 90 would be a 9. Divide over 9 and divide over 9 equals 2. 27 over 9 is 3. 90 over 9 is 10. You can do it another way. You can say, well, I cannot figure out the 9. Let's do the 3. Well, I know that over 3 and over 3, that will give me 27 over 3 will give me a 9. 90 over 3 will give me a 30. But there is another common factor I need to eliminate over another 3 and over another 3, and that will give you the same answer. That's it. Let's do a practice question and see how we're going to do with that questions. The simplest form for 24 over 32 is, you can use the tree method, list all the factors for both numbers, and circle the common factors, multiply them together, and then in one step, you're able to find the simplest form of that fraction, or you can look at the top and the bottom and realize something there, and that would be the start for simplifying the fraction. Write down the problem and see which fraction from the 4 given here is the simplest form of the given fraction. Again, we have 24 over 32. I'm going to do the second method. 24 over 32, they happen to be even numbers. I'm going to use that feature, divide over 2 and divide over 2. 24 over 2 is 12. 32 over 2 is 16. Okay, again, even numbers, divide over 2 and divide over 2 equals 2. 12 over 2 is 6. 16 over 2 is 8. Again, even numbers, there's more to eliminate. Divide over 2 and divide over 2 equals 2. 3 over 4. So 3 over 4 is the simplest form, the most reduced form for the given fraction. Any questions on this example?